Hello, it's Gila Nehemia. I hope you can hear me. I'm just gonna check check the sound. If you just can hold on one moment. Um, believe everything is set up. Okay. So yeah, I hope you can hear me well. It's Gila Nehemia, Sacred Erotic Self-Love Poet, Mentor, and Mystic. I am your spiritual heart guide. Those of you who don't know me, I guide women who have been through chronic trauma to truly heal their heart and reclaim their sexual power, to really connect to the divine and live a blissful erotic life. And that doesn't just mean physically and sexually, it also means through love, loving themselves, self-love. And this is really important, to connect to their own genius, which is what we're going to be talking about today. The topic of today is sex, love, and money. Sometimes a very controversial topic. Just writing that in here. It can be very controversial because, number one, people don't always like to talk about sex. It's somewhat taboo, and it's kind of put under the covers. It's not polite, or a number of different things about that. I just wanted to. I've been thinking about this live for a lot of today, and also before. Thank you for joining, whoever joined. How do we approach this topic? Because it's a lot of people come to me about sex. Sometimes they really like enjoy sex, and they're like, I don't know how to even control it. I enjoy it so much, I want it all the time. The beautiful thing, I'm going to read something from Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, and read one of my own poems. It's called Sacred Erotic Poetry. That's what this series is about. And today we're talking about sex, love, and money. The reason why, one, I wanted to talk about sacred sexuality was because I believe sacred sexuality is very much in line with ascension. Anyone who's on a spiritual path, we are spiritual beings living in a physical body. How do we move through our own physical urges and still connect into the divine? There's lots about that. And today we're going to talk about Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill, in this particular book, he is from, definitely at the time that he wrote this, which is 1937, very patriarchal ideas. And I understand that, though I think that what he says here is totally on the ball. Maybe I wouldn't have used some of the words he uses, but I completely agree with it. And you may or may not agree, so let's just explore together. Let's take the adventure together. It's going to be about 15 minutes. This particular, every time I do this poetry series is about 15 minutes. So I'm going to keep it short. I'm going to give you some ideas to think about. If you have anything you'd like to share, the floor is open for question and answers. I should be seeing most of your comments. If I don't, I apologize. I will, I'll just check on my phone if I see anything. So I will be looking to see if there's something that you guys are writing. Great. So what I wanted to do first is just to pray on my crystals. So if you'd like to join me, just to set an intention for this session today. So if you'd like to close your eyes, let's take a deep breath together. I really just love to connect with our heart space, into the divinity, really just feeling into love and openness, acceptance, wholeness, sovereignty. Powerful, powerful energies today. Breathe that in. Whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. And today is January 21st and 2021. So the 21 is double. So very powerful energies today, really bringing lots of shifts for all of us. So I would ask you to welcome that and receive that power, because you are powerful. So without further ado, I read this over a year ago, this particular book. And I was really excited when I read this part, because it just really speaks to me. I really connect sex, love, and desire. Specifically, I used erotic desire to connect to the divine. That was my path. And that's what I've been talking about for the past 3 years. And this particular book cemented everything, because I was looking here, just to be honest, looking here about financial assistance. How can I connect into my abundance? How can I connect to the abundance that I know is my birthright? So he says it really beautifully. I'll just read a couple of passages, not too much, and then I'm going to read my poem, and I'm going to talk a little bit about these topics, sex, love, and money. If you have this book, it's page 255 that I'm reading on, and I'll probably go a little bit into 256. So he says, love is without question life's greatest experience. It brings one into communion with infinite intelligence. When mixed with the emotions of romance and sex, it may lead one far up the ladder of creative effort. The emotions of love, sex, and romance are sides of the eternal triangle of achievement-building genius. Nature creates genie through no other force. Love is an emotion with many sides, shades, and colors. The love which one feels for parents or children is quite different from that which one feels for one's sweetheart. The one is mixed with the emotion of sex, while the other is not. Then there's the emotion of love for things inanimate, such as the love of nature's handiwork. But the most intense and burning of all these various kinds of love is that experience in the blending of the emotions of love and sex. Marriages not blessed with the eternal affinity of love, properly balanced and proportioned with sex, cannot be happy ones, and seldom endure. Love alone will not bring happiness in marriage, nor will sex alone. When these two beautiful emotions are blended, marriage may bring about a state of mind closest to the spiritual that one may ever know on this earthly plane. When the emotions of romance is added to those of love and sex, the obstructions between the finite mind and the infinite intelligence are removed. There is a genius. Then a genius has been born. I just want to read a little bit more. What a different story is this than those usually associated with the emotion of sex. Here's an interpretation of the emotion which lifts it out of the commonplace and makes it potter's clay in the hands of God, from which he fashions all that is beautiful and inspiring. It is an interpretation which would, when properly understood, bring harmony out of the chaos which exists in too many marriages. The disharmonies, often expressed in the form of nagging, may usually be traced to lack of knowledge on the subject of sex. Where love, romance, and the proper understanding of the emotion and function of sex abide, there is no disharmony between married people. So I won't go any further, though, it doesn't have to be marriage. It can be just connection. I'm not, we're in a different age. Again, this was written in 1937. We're now in 2021. I wanted to highlight a couple of things just before, as I'm talking about this. He talks about the triangle of achievement building genius. Eternal triangle. I really was thinking about the eternal triangle. Also in many religions, there's three, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost in Christianity. There's three forefathers in, in Judaism, even in Hinduism, there's the three, so it's like a very powerful number three. Also 21, 2 plus 1 is 3. There's a lot of things with 3. 3 is a very powerful number. 3 for the angels is like an angel number is ascended masters. So, I wanted to first talk about that. And secondly, he talks about genius. There's a creative effort. If you think about, he goes into it, but I was thinking about Amadeus, if any of you know Amadeus Mozart. If you saw the movie, I know I saw the movie. So he is a genius in music, right? There's so many genius people in music now, all kinds of music. But his particular story is fascinating because he was very, highly sexual, and he had a partner, and he would make this amazing art, and part of the challenge he had was how to channel this. That's why it's called, this particular chapter is called Sex Transmutation. And what is transmutation? But it's the transferring of one element or form of energy into another. This is how he defines it, which is why I was reading it. So, how do you transmute this? amazing energies, this desire. Desire, he says, is one of the most powerful. Sex in the form of desire is one of the most powerful. And it's all over. You know, Abraham Hicks, if you think about them, they talk about desire. Desire moves you. The desire to have wealth, you know, desire to be with another in an amazing love. Desire moves us. How do we use that energy? And how do we create something? It's not with forethought. It's not with thinking. For me, it was a similar process. I had the desire, a desire of true love. I just had this desire. I don't know where it came from. It was just always in me, and I kept seeing it everywhere I went, but I didn't have it. You know, I didn't know how to have it until I surrendered and allowed it to come to me by speaking it. And that was my process, by surrendering to it. And then it came into my life. And what is my genius? My genius is my words, my poetry. That is my genius. You know, my energy. I can even just call it energy. We all have a genius energy that we can tap into, that taps into the infinite intelligence. We have this capability. We are now in a space of awakening. Many of us are waking up to say that we don't want this kind of life that we're living. We don't want to live these kinds of habits that we're continuing to do that are destructive to us. Let's change. And this moment of change, like Amanda Gorman just said, you know, on the inauguration, she talked about love is our greatest legacy, and for the children, it's change is their birthright. So, you know, I'm not quoting her, but I know that's what she said, and it really moved me because we have this ability. Love changes everything. Love is transformational. As he said, love connects us into the spiritual, coupled with sex and romance. It is so powerful. So powerful. And how does money come into the picture? Well, he talks about, you know, so when you are so entranced, you know, you desire more. You will do what you need to create this wealth because you know that this is your birthright. This is something that you want to give to your lover. You know, it's something that you want to enjoy. You want more, and you know you can have it because when you have this love that's infinite, that takes you to heights that you've never experienced before, then you're like, oh my God, if I can have that, I can have anything. That's how I understand the chapter, and I don't have to read it for you. You can read it yourself. But he also says about sex transmutation, right? Changing that energy. So it's not just like you want every person that's moving. You want to transform that energy to move into something else. You know, you are the, you know, you're the potter creating the clay. You are this like amazing genius creator. And when you can create anything, like, you know, you want to create from your heart, you want it to be this infinite, everlasting. So I'll read my poem. It's called Abundance. And when did I write this? I wrote this in 2019 in the summer, July. So it's entitled Abundance. Inhaling the incense of the crisp morning air, flower blossoms wafting and dotting my path, basking in the medicinal pine trees that inundate me, looking out at the panorama of nature's wonders, the desert, trees, mountains, and limitless sky, speaking in silent abundance. Eyes closing, I fall softly in the verdant grass. Kissing the blades, I yield to the core of Gaia. Hugging me close, I feel her heartbeat thundering, shaking my effervescent light. Whispers of support reverberating in my ears, swallowing me whole, licking every inch of my body. Lingering drops of sweet dew caress my skin. Laying with my back facing the sky and my stomach at one with her magnetic depth. Cycles ending, I embody eternal wholeness. Angelic spirits blessing me from above and the dense ground lifting me from below. Striding on the tightrope in between realms. Leaves enveloping me in the peaceful womb space. Pure love, joy, and bliss. Consciousness infiltrating my heart. Grateful to the supernatural forces continuing to guide my spirit. I actually was writing this. I took the 21-day meditation challenge with Deepak Chopra on abundance. So that's why I talked about bliss consciousness. He talks about bliss consciousness, also in connection to what we're talking about here. And that was completely, I didn't connect that when I chose the poem. So that's also divine. I also want to talk about divisiveness. You know, when it becomes divisive in relationships, money's definitely divisive, not just in romantic relationships, in all relationships. Money can be divisive. There can be love there. There may or may not be sex, but money can really separate people, can cause arguments, you know, and you know this. This is not something that may be new to you. But what is the binding force? How can we create out of money instead of wanting to keep it? This is the part of love also that I'd like to discuss for a moment. I know we're at time, but I'm going to finish in a moment. So, you know, love can be possessive. And when it's possessive, we feel caged. But when it's free, when it's connecting to the infinite intelligence, when money is free flowing, no one's arguing, right? It's when people get like, oh, I can only have X and I can't have like the infinite abundance that maybe this person can have, then it becomes divisive. So how do we move into this unity, no longer duality, but unity? A unity where we can be free and be ourselves and still have this connection, this deep connection with another and the divine. This is the triumvirate, you know, this is the three. I used to see three birds all the time when I was, you know, when I just began this transformation with another. And I was like, what does that mean? You know, I'd always see one bird and then two behind. And I was just like, I would see it constantly. And it wasn't like a coincidence, you know, like this is the divine was talking to me. And I understood it as this, you know, unity conscious, one love, and together we move into that, you know, and I have a lot of different references to that in my poetry. And that's what I see, you know, even with money, like how can we give and still have? You know, there's unity there. There's, you know, we are this abundant, we are abundant. We're not, you know, there's not one pie and everyone takes a piece of it. The pie is ever flowing. You can have anything you want. The issue here is the habits that you might be experiencing, or the mental stories that keep you from this amazing love or this everlasting abundance. This is the case. This is definitely, you know how many people are out there helping people to change their money mindset, create more love in their life. This is exactly it. When we can do this successfully and understand that everything is happening for us and allow ourselves to receive and surrender to it, then the whole thing changes. We're no longer thinking about lack, as Abraham Hicks says. We are into the manifestation of it. We're already into it. You know how to manifest. You already know everything. The wisdom is inside of you. The key is to unlock it and let go of the stories that are holding you back from it. So sex, love, and money are true. It's the creative genius that connects this desire to have everything, and you can have it. It's not out of greed. It's out of pure love. It's the most pure love that you can have when you can connect sex, love, romance that moves into wealth. Because it's unlimited wealth. We could talk about bliss consciousness. That's why I talk about erotic bliss, because this is exactly it. You move into this space where nothing else can exist but bliss. And when something isn't happening, it's just a lesson to show you that you can move through it. Are you learning the lesson? Are you still afraid? Or are you choosing love? It's really a choice every moment. And there's so many shades between that, right? Between fear and love. But the more that we move the compass to love, the more you're going to experience more of your own creative genius, your connection to the divine and another. It is infinite, infinite bliss. So if this is resonating with you, like, hallelujah, this is what my work is all about. You can find more information about my work at gilanahemia.com. I have a lot of resources for you, and I've done many different types of video playlists that you can find on my YouTube channel. So I definitely recommend you subscribe. This will be in my YouTube channel under Sacred Erotic Poetry. And if this is really, really like moving you, I definitely recommend taking my DIY, do-it-yourself course at your own pace, on your own time, called The Words of Seduction. And I just released this like a couple of weeks ago. I've been hearing rave reviews, a beautiful experience, and really takes you into self-pleasure and body wisdom and expressing your desires. You know, part of this whole process is to allow yourself to be free. You know, be free in your sexuality, be free with your love, be free. And, you know, freedom means different things to different people. So I'd love for you to experience a course. If you have any questions, you know, I'm always available to talk to. But it is really on your own. You know, that's the kind of courses. I do have mentoring programs. Everything's on my website. So I will let you look at that. So I'm just really excited about this series. I am also publishing my own poetry book, due to come out next month. Very, very excited about that. So if you've been enjoying my poem or enjoying some of the poetry that I've posted, I definitely recommend being on the list to get information about my book. If you'd like to know more, definitely leave a comment and I will connect with you. I'm going to be creating a list for my launch party. If you'd like to be a part of it, I'd love for you to be there. So many exciting things happening. Very exciting times on January 21st, 2021. Allow love into your life. You know, don't be afraid of love. Don't be afraid of your desire. Don't be afraid of having everything. You know, Marianne Williamson says the biggest thing we fear is our own success. And success is infinite. You know, think about it. You can have everything. You can have everything you desire. And that just feels so yummy. So that's really what I'm inviting you to. Inviting you to the experience of you having everything you desire. So if you've been enjoying that, please take a look at my course. And thank you so much for being here today. Namaste, Shanti Shalom. Happy Thursday. Have a beautiful weekend. Bye-bye.